have any twos? Blue Blood tried, peeking over his cards hopefully. Nope, I answer. I have to fight the smirk down as Bluey groans and throws his hooves up. I really want to learn poker so I can own my brother at it. He takes wearing his heart on his sleeve to the next level. Though, perhaps that is because he doesn't wear sleeves. You cheat, he declared, slamming his cards down and crossing his hooves with a humph. I take this as a declaration of surrender and finally release the grin I was holding back. I win again then? How about best 3 out of 5? No, you cheat. You're a cheater. Come on, do you really think I'll be that deceitful with you? To win? Yep. I give him a playful shove, and the first inklings of a smile began to break through his soured visage. You know, maybe if you didn't give up so quick, you could actually turn these things around, I propose. For he that fights and runs away may live to fight another day, Blue Blood recites confidently, quoting Grandpa's shield and ignoring my incredulous stare. Right. I don't think that works in goldfish. Yes, it does. You just don't think so because you're not smart like me. Oh yeah? What's 6 plus 11? I counter with narrowed eyes, feeling triumphant as my brother sputters and blushes. It's 16. 17, I corrected, getting a glare. Who's the smart one again? Well, you're the one teaching me math, so my wrong answer is your fault. You're a bad teacher. I gasp at the accusation, pushing the hoof thrown in my face to the side. You take that back, you little ingrate. You wouldn't be able to count your hoofs if it wasn't for me. No, is his witty response. He even goes as far to stick his tongue out at me in the ultimate sign of disrespect. Oh, he's going to get it. What followed was a battle for the ages, as brother and sister fought for the title of smartest twin. The subjects of Playroom were divided into opposing factions and soon knew the horrors of war, as their leaders made them take up arms. Friendships shattered, families torn apart, and all knew only sadness and sorrow. For 10 minutes the war raged on, and once kind and benevolent rulers, not yielding even as buttons were lost and innocent stuffing spilt. The war raged until, in display as dastardly cunning, Prince Blue Blood twisted Fluffykin's Duchess of Cotton Balls and used the noble hair to strike down her own princess. Yield! Blue Blood shouts, bringing the stuffed bunny down in a swift stripe upon my head. Yield! Never! To think my own brother would sink as low to use my own toys against me. Has he no shame? I will never yield to a malefactor such as you. I don't know what that is! Smacking me again with the bunny. Yield! Villain! Delinquent! Miscreant! Contemptible! You're just making stuff up now! Huh? See, I'm the smarter one. I read the dictionary. That makes you boring, not smart, Blue Blood says, stopping his assault to give a flat stare. Does not, I retort as I struggle to my hoofs, my bunny-battered body shaking slightly. Learning is cool, Mom says. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Tackling the colt to the ground while he distracted, I wrestle Fluffykins from his hoofs. Yes, it is. I puncture each syllable with a righteous blow, and Blue Blood is left to fruitlessly try and shield himself with his hoofs. Suddenly we hear a door slam somewhere in the house before a familiar voice yells something. Both my brother and I gasp before Blue Blood bucks me off and shouts, Grandpa's shield will agree with me. They'll prove I'm the smart one and you're the boring one. No, he'll agree with me, I say as I chase after my brother. It's taken a year and 8 months, but I've mastered this new body enough to run without tripping every 3 steps. Which is too bad for Blue Blood. Putting my all into a sprint and leaping forward, I catch his back legs, causing him to fall down, allowing me to overtake him. The growl from his lips when I stick my tongue at him from over my shoulder has me laughing nearly all the way to the entrance. I would have kept laughing all the way to Grandpa Shield's embrace too, if I didn't hear my father yell at him, and was definitely a hoof slamming into the floor. Slowing to a stop, I stand just out of sight at the corner and perk an ear forward. What's happening? I hold a hoof up to Blue Blood when he tries to enter the foyer, sending him a silent message to be still. For a moment, it's clear that he wants to argue, but another anger-filled yell has him snapping his jaw shut and hesitantly stepping closer. I know you had something to do with this, going behind my back, talking to the princess about me. I never thought my own son would be so treacherous, Grandpa growls. Dad, I neither know what you are talking about, nor what makes you think you can barge into my home like this to berate me. But if you continue, I will not hesitate to kick you out. Oh yeah? How are you going to manage that? You think just because you got the princess's ear, you're some sort of big shot? Dad sighs. Have you been drinking? Because you aren't making any sense. Especially if you think I can't remove you from my own home by force. I'm a soldier. A retired soldier, Dad. You haven't seen action in over 20 years. My country still needs me. Don't you get that? I can help the next generation. I can pass on what I know. Do you really believe that that is really so important? If you aren't doing work you beg the princess for, you're sitting at that cabin by yourself. Dad's voice goes from tight to having the slightest waver. Dad, why can't you let that life go? Because it's all I have left. I had peeked around the corner to see Grandpa Shield with hot tears in his eyes. I wasn't able to save your mother, and now you, trying to stop me from doing what little good I can do? I can help Equestria. It's ponies. The princess believes so. At least, until you convinced her otherwise. Dad! The younger stallion tries. Hoof raises to reach for his father before stalling. Dad, what happened to Mom was an accident. It wasn't your fault, or any pony's. Listen, I don't know what you think I did, but I haven't spoken any more than a few words to Auntie in months. And what was said wasn't about you. Maybe Celestia believes it's time for you to move on. You're supposed to be retired for a reason. It's time for you to put aside your armor and spend time with your family. Ornate and I, we've talked about it, and we both believe it'll be for the best if you move in with us. Sitting at that cabin, dwelling on the past, it's not healthy. As he says this, Dad steps forward and makes to hug his father, but his hoof is slapped away as Grandpa Shield glares. What? You think I'm crazy? Is that what you're suggesting? Just a crazy old stallion by himself in the woods. Is that what you told the princess? You know, she was telling me the same thing, that I should stay in Canterlot. Now I can see what she got the idea. For the last time, I never spoke with Princess Celestia. You stubborn! It was me! Blue Blood shouts, pushing past me as I'm too stunned to move. As I watch the older ponies fight, my heart begins to pound against my ribcage. I couldn't keep the memories at bay. I couldn't get the image of my human parents fighting, yelling, and hating each other. Every pony just seemed so happy here, and I began to believe, somewhere along the line, that they simply couldn't be like that to one another. The mere prospect of my new family going through that, falling apart in any regard, freezes me in place as I listen to my brother continue. I'm sorry, Grandpa. I didn't mean to make you sad. I just miss you so much when you go away. What, Bluey? What are you talking about? Grandpa Shield asked, kneeling down to receive his grandson. Leaping into their embrace, Blueblood cries. When Pure and I were at the castle, Auntie Celestia asked me how I was feeling, and I told her I wish I could see you more. I'm so sorry. Shh, calm down, little one. It's okay. No, it's not. You're mad and yelling at Daddy, and it's all my fault. I just wanted to see you more. I didn't know she would take your job. As Shield hushes the crying colt, Dad steps forward and sits. Blueblood, you didn't do anything wrong. You're just being honest. You know, if I'm to be honest, I like to see Dad more too. We all would. Leveling a meaningful look at the older stallion, Grandpa returns the gaze with a tightened jaw for a bit before releasing a sigh. Okay, I see what you and the princess have been getting at. I guess it's time for me to retire for real instead of just officially. Stroking the colt's mane, Grandpa closes his eyes. It's hard though, knowing that I can be out there helping Equestria keep it safe, even if it's not on the front lines. But you can keep us safe, Little Blueblood exclaimed. Yeah, if you live with us, you can keep us safe. Mom, Dad, Pure, and me. You can protect Canterlot and the princess right from here. Blinking a few times, Grandpa chuckles. I guess I can. And hey, fresh recruits train here in Canterlot. I don't have to visit every camp in Equestria. He rubs his chin in thought. Hey, would you like to train with me too, lad? I whipped your father into shape growing up. I'm sure I can do the same for you. While the colt smiles broadly, the color drains from Dad's face. Hey now, we haven't even gotten everything worked out yet. Like when and if you'll be moving in with us, when we'll be able to collect your things from the cabin. There's no need to start making out workout routines. Nonsense, Grandpa declares, standing while sticking his grandson on his back. I was planning on getting a hotel room after we, settle things here, but I might as well stay the night, save some bits. We'll have plenty of time to work everything out, so I'm sure it'll be all settled by morning. Then I can begin this little one's training regiment first thing in the morning. Dad went to say something, but the matching grins of his father and son had him sighing instead. They all seemed happy now, or at least not mad, and I began to slowly step out, legs feeling like jelly. My heartbeat had begun to settle, but I still felt nervous and afraid. Daddy? Grandpa? Dad's eyes snapped to me and the beginnings of a smile start to form before falling away. Pureblood? Honey, what's the matter? He asks, walking over to pick me up. He looks over at Grandpa. Did you hear us fighting too? Mm-hmm. Is as much as an answer I can muster as I wipe my eyes dry. Dad, do you and Grandpa Shield hate each other? What? Dad replied, eyes wide. Of course not. What would make you think such a thing? Because you were yelling at each other? Oh. Rubbing the back of his neck, Dad cleared his throat. Well, sometimes grown-ups get mad and yell instead of talking their problems out properly. It isn't right, but it doesn't mean we hate each other. He's right, Grandpa chimes in, regret clear in his voice as he comes closer. I'm sorry, Pure, for scaring you like that. I was mad, but I could never stop loving your father. He's my son, after all, even if he couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. As Blueblood and I giggle at that, Dad glares. Hey, just because I didn't join the Royal Guard like you kept trying to push me into, doesn't mean I'm a pushover. Maybe before you moved out of the house when you were younger, but you haven't been keeping up with your training since then. Your legs might as well be toothpicks for how skinny they are, and don't even get me started on that gut. What? I'll have you know, Ornate has to beat the ladies off me with a stick when we go out together. Yes, I'll never understand the new infatuation girls have these days with marish-looking stallions. Marish? I have a moustache! Shaking his head, Grandpa repeats, I'll never understand. Staring out the window to the gardens, Blueblood the 16th watches with a soft smile as his father plays with the twins. It was a side of the stallion he had not seen nearly enough of since his mother passed all those years ago, though he had hoped that would be rectified soon. Blueblood? I was told you wanted to see me. Ornate began as she entered the room. I was only gone for 30 minutes to do some grocery shopping with Cutting Board. Surely nothing too bad has happened since then. Oh no, nothing bad, Blueblood said, turning to his beautiful wife. Well, I suppose it could have been bad. Almost was even, but no. Things have worked out fine, even better. Come see for yourself. Ornate raised an eyebrow. Okay, be cryptid, why don't you? She said as she moved to the window to see what her husband was gesturing to. Is that your father? What's he doing here? He usually sends a letter in advance announcing his visits, doesn't he? Yes, his visit was quite the surprise. And like I said, it wasn't shaping up to be a good one. It seems Auntie has decided to no longer send my father all over Equestria to scare trainees anymore. He didn't take it well. Oh dear, I can understand why. A confused frown on her face. But why would that lead to a almost bad visit here? Well, he got the thought in his head that I asked Auntie to do it, and he was none too happy with the idea of me meddling in his life. For a moment there, it looked like things were going to come to blows until our son came out and confessed he was the one who told Auntie that he wished his grandpa wasn't always gone. Ornate gasped. And was he mad? Blueblood shook his head with a small smile. No, his anger all but evaporated as soon as he saw his grandson. I play that Blueblood doesn't realize the power he has over the old soldier anytime soon. I fear he could get the dad to do whatever he wanted to. As it is, he's already convinced him to move in after I failed to do so. Really? Blueblood gave his wife a sideways glance. Is that okay with you? I know we discussed it before, but it was always hypothetical. No, I'm glad to hear it. Hopefully he'll finally be able to start moving on. Plus the twins adore him, little Blueblood especially. It's just a surprise is all. I didn't expect it would be that easy to convince him, let alone for it to happen in the half hour I left the house. Blueblood chuckled. Yes, it is quite sudden, but I'm happy. It's like a weight were lifted from my shoulders. I worried about him ever since Mom passed away. Worried he'd do something rash or... Well, I'm just glad that those fears can finally be put to rest. Though I'm a bit worried for our son's health now. Panic entered Ornate's eyes. What? Sorry, I simply mean that dear old Dad wants to start training our son like he did me. You remember how I told you that was like? Ornate relaxed a bit. Don't scare me like that, she began, leaning into her husband. With Pureblood having to visit the hospital again soon, I've been on edge lately. As for the training, maybe it'll be good for Blueblood. Help him burn off some of that extra energy he expends to be driving the help crazy. Maybe so, but no colt deserves that sort of torture, the stallion countered. I just hope I can get Dad not to overdo it. I'd rather not explain to ponies why my son is limping wherever he goes. I'm sure he'll be fine, assured Ornate, smiling at the sight of her son and daughter rolling on the ground in a laughing fit, their grandfather pulling silly faces while doing a little jig. He loves those two to bits. Of course he does. How could he not when we have the two most adorable children in Equestria? Blueblood stated proudly, his chest puffed out while his wife rolled her eyes. The most adorable. Don't you think that's exaggerating? They're more likely in the top 5. Oh yeah? Like there could be even one foal cuter than ours? Let alone 2 or 3, said Blue Blood before mumbling under his breath. I married a crazy mare. Keep it up and you'll be spending the night in the guest room with your father, Ornate threatened. Now how about we stop staring out the window like a creepy old couple and go outside? I haven't seen my foals in nearly 40 minutes and I'm becoming impatient. Chuckling, Blue Blood gestured for her to go first and quickly followed behind. Spending some quality time with his family sounded perfect right about now.